My name is Ruth Ultman. It was Old Liechtenstein, and I was born in Königsberg in East Prussia, Germany. I'm Jewish. I would be considered a Holocaust survivor, although I feel that I was particularly lucky because I was never in a camp. I went to England in the Kindertransport and always was with families who looked after me. Kindertransport was an organization that arranged for Jewish children to get out of Germany. Hitler was not interested in Jewish children. He was just interested in the adults and to get as much money and art and whatever that they could get, and then to put them into camp, etc. But children were allowed to go out, and there were Jewish organizations in England that were very helpful. For instance, the Bloomsbury House, which found families who were willing to take in these children. It was my mother's decision when she heard about the Kindertransport and the possibility of my getting out of Germany that she signed me up for this. And it was then actually that I learned that she was not my biological mother, and that my mother had died at birth. And this was quite a shock because I was 11 going on 12, and it took me about 2 or 3 days to digest this, and I finally decided that she had never remarried, that she had lived for me, with me, and I didn't know anybody else as mother. And so I said, okay, so I come from a different plant. The transition from England to New York came via my good friend from boarding school, who joined her mother in New York, who came from Berlin and who had gotten out. And when Mishi got to New York, her mother gave a party to introduce her to her friends, and she went around introducing everybody, and there was somebody there by the name of Marie Liechtenstein. And my friend said, oh, that's very funny, my best friend at school was Ruth Liechtenstein. So this lady sort of picked up her ears and said, how old is she, where was she born? And it turned out to be my father's sister, who had emigrated from Berlin via Mozambique to New York. I must say that due to my life and getting out of Germany and being, quote, saved from a concentration camp, that I feel very grateful to Bloomsbury House, to whom I still contribute, and was able to lead my life and feel to a certain extent that I was saved for a purpose, which is why I have always been in service for humanity, why nursing was so important to me, and why my volunteer work now with hospice and with Ronald McDonald House is so important, because I feel I want to give back. After my husband died and we had Horizon people come to the house and help me take care of him, that I then became a volunteer at Horizon after he passed away in 2000. I have been a hospice volunteer since 2000. Besides having patients here in Hyde Park, work at the office once a week. Volunteering is part of my way of continuing to give back. And I must admit that if I were to stay and not have my volunteer work, I think I would frizzle up. I think it's very important to share struggles in life, because the next generation, my children, sort of were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and they have to know what we went through in order to reach the point to be able to afford them the education that they got, and that life does not always come on a silver platter, and they have to know that so that they can tell their children what is important in life, and that it isn't just having money and having a good life, but that you have to think of others and have to do good.